Good morning. As November ended, many in the UK and Scandinavia expected a gentle start to December. Maybe a little chill, but nothing dramatic. The air was crisp, but manageable. Kids played outside, commutes were easy, and winter seemed to be waiting its turn. But winter had other plans. On November 30th, everything changed. Overnight, a powerful cold snap swept across northern Europe. People went to bed expecting a typical morning, but woke to a world transformed by an icy blast. This wasn't just a bit of cold, it was a dramatic, widespread plunge in temperatures. From Scotland to Scandinavia, the first day of meteorological winter made a statement. Headlines screamed about the freeze, a reminder that nature can change everything overnight. In the next scenes, we'll explore how temperatures plummeted, why it happened, and how people responded to this early taste of winter's power. Let's see how communities coped and what we can learn for the next big freeze. The last night of November brought a temperature drop that would be remembered for years to come. It was nothing short of shocking, catching everyone off guard as the chill swept through the city. In London, the evening began at a relatively mild 6 degrees Celsius, with people still clinging to their autumn routines. But by sunrise, the Mercury had plunged to -4, a dramatic 10-degree drop that left cars and rooftops coated in ice. In the Scottish Highlands, the transformation was even more extreme. 0 degrees became -11 overnight, turning hills, trees and lochs into sparkling, icy wonderlands. Oslo, too, felt winter's grip tighten. The city dropped from 2 to -9, every surface encased in crystalline frost that glittered in the early morning light. Across Scandinavia, puddles froze solid, and leaves became slippery hazards underfoot, making every step a cautious one. A thick, sparkling frost blanketed the ground, transforming parks and fields into scenes straight out of a winter postcard. In Copenhagen, temperatures tumbled from 4 to -5, catching commuters and city services completely off guard as sidewalks turned treacherous. The speed of the freeze was the real story. There was no gradual adjustment, just a sudden biting cold that swept in overnight, forcing everyone to scramble for scarves and gloves. Stockholm joined in, dropping to -8, as the city awoke to a world transformed by ice and snow. On December 1st, millions across the region opened their doors to a world that felt as if winter had kicked down the door and taken over in a single night. The cold was here, and it meant business, coating every surface, biting at every exposed finger, and reminding everyone of nature's power. The entire region, from the UK to Scandinavia, was united by a single, shared experience, the abrupt, undeniable arrival of true winter, as if the season had flipped a switch. And as the first snowflakes began to fall, it was clear. This was only the beginning of a long, unforgettable winter. The cold snap didn't just bring low temperatures, it brought a dramatic transformation, with snow sweeping across northern and eastern UK and much of Scandinavia. The landscape changed almost overnight as the first flakes began to fall. As Arctic air collided with moisture from the North Sea, rain quickly turned to sleet and then to thick, swirling snowflakes. The air was filled with a quiet hush, broken only by the sound of snow settling on rooftops and streets. By morning, towns in County Durham and Northumberland were blanketed in a pristine layer of fresh snow, turning familiar streets and fields into a winter wonderland. Picturesque scenes, delighted children hoping for a snow day, with laughter echoing through the streets. But for many adults, the timing made commutes treacherous, as roads became slippery and travel slowed to a crawl. Even in snow-savvy Scandinavia, cities like Bergen experienced rare, heavy snowfalls. The cold air kept the snow dry and powdery, ideal for skiing and winter sports, but easily whipped into deep drifts by the relentless wind. Where snow didn't fall, a hard hoarfrost coated everything in intricate ice crystals, transforming trees, grass, and even window panes into delicate works of art. Beautiful, but dangerous. Roads, pavements, and car windscreens became slick and hazardous. Emergency services warned of increased risks as slips and accidents became more common. The snow and frost made the cold snap impossible to ignore. People bundled up in layers, bracing themselves against the biting wind and icy air. Every surface told the story of winter's sudden arrival, from benches and lampposts buried in snow to windows rimmed with frost and icicles. The landscape was transformed, and so were daily routines. People woke early to shovel driveways, and public transport struggled to keep up with the changing conditions. Whether it was snow or ice, everyone felt the impact. Each step outside was a reminder of nature's power and unpredictability. The 1st of December was a day when winter made itself seen and felt, marking the true beginning of the season with a memorable display of snow and frost. And the challenges were just beginning, as forecasts warned of more snow and ice to come, urging everyone to prepare for a long, cold winter ahead. Why did it get so cold? So fast? One day you're walking outside in a light jacket, and the next you're bundled up, bracing against a biting chill. It almost feels like winter arrived overnight, catching everyone off guard. The answer lies high above us, in the layers of the atmosphere, and far to the north, in the icy Arctic. Normally, a powerful river of air called the jet stream keeps frigid Arctic air contained. But this time, the jet stream weakened and dipped far south, allowing a huge mass of Arctic air to escape its usual boundaries. This Arctic blast surged over Scandinavia and the UK, delivering a direct shot of polar air right to our doorsteps with little warning. The wind direction flipped dramatically, from the relatively mild, moist breezes off the Atlantic to harsh, dry northerlies. These winds carried no warmth, only the sting of winter. The result? Temperatures plummeted in a matter of hours, with thermometers dropping rapidly and frost forming almost instantly. While sudden cold snaps aren't unheard of, the timing and sheer intensity of this event were remarkable, hitting right at the very start of meteorological winter, when most people were still adjusting to the season. Sometimes these weather patterns can linger, locking in the cold for days or even weeks, making daily life a real challenge. Meteorologists had predicted a cold spell, but the speed and depth of this freeze surprised even seasoned experts, showing just how unpredictable nature can be. It's a classic example of how a sudden shift in global weather patterns can transform our daily routines and cityscapes almost overnight. The science behind it is fascinating, but for most people, the reality was simple. Everyone felt the effects, from scraping ice off cars to trudging through snow on the way to work or school. And as night fell, the cold only deepened, reminding us that winter's grip was just beginning. The freeze hit cities and towns hard and fast. Roads became icy traps, with gritters struggling to keep up, especially on smaller streets. Traffic accidents spiked in places like Manchester and Glasgow, while public transport faltered. Trains stalled as ice froze points and power lines, leaving commuters stranded. Stockholm's metro faced signal failures. Airports scrambled to de-ice planes, causing delays and cancellations. The energy grid strained as everyone cranked up the heat, and frozen pipes burst in older buildings. The first day of December tested the resilience of our infrastructure. It exposed just how vulnerable our systems are to sudden extreme weather. The cold snap was more than an inconvenience. It was a wake-up call, and it forced everyone to adapt fast. For most, the day began with scraping thick ice from car windscreens. If the doors weren't frozen shut, many cars refused to start, forcing people to change plans or stay home. Schools faced tough choices. Some closed, especially in rural areas, leaving parents scrambling for childcare. Even open schools kept kids indoors, playgrounds too icy to risk. Outdoor workers faced real danger from frostbite and hypothermia. Many sites paused work and postal deliveries slowed. Simple errands became challenges: extra layers, careful steps, and a rush for essentials like salt and warm food. Supermarkets saw a run on hot drinks and comfort food. The cold changed the rhythm of daily life, forcing everyone to slow down and adapt. On this day, the weather wasn't just a topic, it was in charge. Despite the challenges, the cold brought out the best in people. Neighbours checked on the elderly and vulnerable, offering to shop or clear paths. Volunteers with 4x4s gave healthcare workers rides to clinics. Cafe owners in Oslo handed out free hot drinks to the homeless. Social media became a lifeline, sharing updates, lending shovels and offering help. These acts of kindness made a real difference, turning hardship into solidarity. The cold snap reminded us that our greatest strength is each other. Community spirit melted some of the hardship away. In tough times, we're at our best when we work together. When the cold bites, staying safe and warm is crucial. Dress in layers. Trapping air keeps you warmer than a single thick coat. Don't forget hats, scarves, gloves and waterproof boots. Indoors, keep living spaces warm, close curtains at dusk and block drafts. Check on elderly neighbours. They're especially vulnerable. Hot meals and drinks help maintain body temperature. If you must travel, de-ice your car fully and keep an emergency kit, blanket, torch, food and a charged phone. Always check forecasts and heed travel warnings. The cold can strain your heart. Take it easy when shoveling snow. Know the signs of hypothermia: shivering, pale skin, slurred speech. Seek help fast if you spot them. With a few precautions, we can all get through a cold snap safely. The first December Freezefest was a wake-up call. Winter in Northern Europe can be severe. Will there be more? The jet stream could bring further cold spells, so it's wise to be prepared. Insulate homes, ready cars, stock up on warm clothing and supplies. Preparation isn't pessimism, it's practical. Stay informed. Weather forecasts and warnings give you time to act. This cold snap showed the value of community and readiness. Winter can be magical or harsh. By staying prepared and looking out for each other, we can handle whatever comes. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll keep you updated.